of the Emancipation Proclamation, which had just been signed 100 years earlier. The movement of about 200 to 300,000 people who had no idea what they were in store for on that day. I'm happy to join with you today in what will go down in history
Come on now.
as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great America, in whose symbolic shadow we stand today, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the withering flames of injustice. But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the concerned corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. So we come here today to dramatize the shameful condition. Yes. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects wrote the words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to every American. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note. Instead of honoring their sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check. A check which has come back marked insufficient.
All right now.
But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. And so we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. Now, I'm not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. There will neither be rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. We cannot turn back. We cannot walk alone. We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. But there is something I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for justice by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. I say to you today, my friends, even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. Yeah. All right. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed, that all men are created equal. Amen. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and slave owners will be able to sit down at the table of brotherhood together. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Yes.
I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. And this, I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places made plain, and the crooked places made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. And in this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will one day be free. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring from every mountainside, let freedom ring. And when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, we will let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants